Guys, what's going on? Zach Evanish here from the Underground Strength Gym and ZachEvanish.com. And I'm constantly, because I'm training athletes, I'm constantly kind of in this middle ground of we're trying to help the athletes, but the coaches, you just can't communicate with the coaches. We want to help the kids, but then their parents, talk about, why the kids can't do X, Y, Z. So I came up with really these 4 things that have to change. Now, as a former teacher myself, I taught for 11 years. I still remember, and I'm going to get to one of these mistakes, I still remember the football team lost, I think it was 30-something football games in a row. They set like this record for consecutive losses, and the football coach kept his job. So 0-10, 0-10, 0-10, and he keeps his job. And it's amazing how political things could be. And when I look at such a lack of success, I say to myself, okay, I am a strength and conditioning coach, strength and performance coach. What if I had a 0% success rate with the athletes we work with at the Underground Strength Gym? Would we even be in business? Yet in teaching and coaching, it's amazing how they get to stay in business. So here's number 1. No commitment to excellence, just a 0 commitment to excellence. That is the thing, like this relentless pursuit of excellence that I always talk about. You always have to be fired up to get better, even if you're already the champions, even if you're already, considered the best. And I look back at seeing even Olympic gold medalists, they're going for their 2nd gold medal or their 2nd world title, and then somebody beats them. There's always somebody training to beat you. There's always somebody who's training to get ahead of you. So you must be committed to excellence, not just during the season, but it's a year-round job. So if you're a coach, it's all year. It's like running a business. If you're an administrator, a superintendent, a principal, then stop being apologetic for telling people to be great, because good enough is no good. As a parent myself, I don't want my kids to be coached, led. We need leaders out there to be led by somebody who doesn't give a shit, who's not putting their heart and soul into it. And that's the message I give to my team of coaches. I said, when you're training, on a scale of 1 to 10, you give 20. You have to go all in. I don't care what happened between your friends, your girlfriend, your wife, or whatever. You put that in a box and you give all your heart to these kids. That seems to be a lost art form. I don't even want to call it an art form. It's either you care or you don't care. And I think when you care, that's the foundation for doing all the right things. When you care, you're going to seek out excellence. Number 2, there's a massive resistance for change and evolution. I constantly hear this. We always did it that way, or we already are doing X, Y, Z. They fear the change. They fear the evolution. And that brings me to anybody or anything that succeeds, it's because they evolve. It goes back to number 1, excellence. They're always getting better. For example, I grew up in Edison, New Jersey. The neighboring town, Fords, part of Woodbridge, has a little downtown. It was never a thriving area, and it's still the same way. There's constantly these small businesses going in and out of business, and they don't evolve. They're trying to do business, like it's 10, 20, like it's the 80s. That stuff doesn't always work. Cities must evolve, and that's what keeps cities thriving. That's what keeps the economy going. That's what keeps people coming in and out of those towns, moving in, buying, selling. Same thing with schools. The schools that refuse to evolve, those kids don't thrive and they don't become successful beyond the schools, beyond the sports. The athletic coach who's still doing the same thing he or she did from the 80s, from the 90s, things have changed. Kids have changed. How physically fit they are is much different than what it was years ago or decades ago. How mentally tough they are is different from years and decades ago. So if you resist change and you resist evolution, you will not succeed. And in a nutshell, it comes back to, what's the number 1 thing? Does it benefit the kids? Yes. Move in that direction. Does it not benefit the kids? No? Okay, then you got to fix it. You must change. You must evolve. Number 3, woohoo, good old politics. We need to kill the politics. It's in all the schools. It's obviously inside like all kinds of community organization type things, police, teaching. Those places are loaded with the politics. And that's the problem. And I remember, I mean, this is everywhere. And I remember a friend of mine, strength coach in the NFL, I remember he told me, he goes, Zach, he goes, the best people are not in the NFL. The best people aren't hired in the NFL. The friends of friends are in the NFL. Years ago, I had a buddy who used to go and clean out gyms, whether it was a university, a pro team, gyms going out of business. They'd go in with a couple of 16-wheelers, all those big trucks. They take out the equipment. And I remember he had brand new equipment, I believe, from the Philadelphia Eagles, from the NFL pro team. And I go to see the equipment, and it's brand effing new. It's beautiful equipment. I go, what the heck's going on? He goes, Zach, as soon as a new coach comes in, new everything comes in. New assistant coaches, new strength coach, new weight room. We're talking, I don't know, maybe $1 million, multi-million-dollar weight rooms. The equipment changes because new people come in. Politics has to get the axe. I would love to see a school say, okay, we're not hiring you because you're so-and-so's niece, nephew, brother, sister, mother, father. And this is what crushes me is I want to see kids, the future of this world, crushing it. My own kids, I want to see them succeeding. I don't want them being taught or coached by somebody who got that job as a favor, who's just punching the clock. We've got people that are business teachers who don't run their own business. They don't have the pulse on it. We've got athletic directors who ignore sports and teams. We've got coaches who lose season after season after season. And if I offer to help them for free, right, they still say, we're good enough. But they have a losing record. They don't even have an average record, a 500 record, or maybe a 60% winning streak. They've got a losing record and they say, good enough. Right there, politics. And a crazy dog. Okay, here's the last one. This is a big one, and I feel you guys out there. The fear. We've got administrators, teachers, coaches, and a coach told me this. He said, listen, athletics has taken a big back seat in the past 10 years. Administration and coaches, they're scared of lawsuits. They're scared of, complaining parents. A friend of mine is a superintendent in schools. He said years ago, I used to get only a few phone calls, maybe a year. Then it became a few phone calls a marking period. He was, now I'm getting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 phone calls a day from parents that are complaining. Johnny didn't start, Susie didn't start, and he says, hey, these sports are not a requirement. They are a volunteer. So we've got this complaining parent syndrome, right? I speak to parents very often, and what do I often hear? Well, he got ripped off. And it's like, really? He got ripped off? He's 125 pounds on the football team. How is he ripped off? He's obviously not strong enough, not fast enough, not tough enough. In a recent story that I came across locally, there was a NHL veteran coaching the hockey team. Guy played, I think, 15 plus years in the NHL. He did something like he kicked a kid in the butt. I'm not sure what the story was. And immediately the parents went, complained. They went straight to the police department, and boom, the guy's off the team. He had to get a lawyer and all this shit. And it's like, holy crap. We've got parents who are saying, coach, whatever, kicked my son in the butt. I mean, the things the coaches did to myself and the rest of the team, the way they pushed us, I see that as caring. The coach that just lets everybody skip practice, not work hard in the off season, not, do tough training in season, that's the coach who doesn't give a crap. He doesn't care. She doesn't care. But we've got excellence. Goes back to, number one, there's no commitment to excellence. In fact, people fear it. They don't like it. It makes everybody uncomfortable. So coaches that are liked by administration are the coaches that just Hey man, I'm not going to cause any waves. We're not going to bother you. I'm not going to ask you about equipment. I'm not going to ask you about the money. I'm not going to ask you about anything. I'll just keep my mouth shut and just stand there in the corner like a big chicken and not give these kids the best. Now, what do I see? I see top coaches either leaving, they fire themselves, or they get fired. And the reason why is, why would they fire themselves? They're sick of having a standard of excellence, and then the parents complain, you're making us work too hard, you're making us do too much of this. Listen, I understand that the world needs, I call it the human food chain. We got people at the top of the food chain, the middle, and the bottom. There's no such thing as a tie score in the real world when you're out there trying to get a job, creating a business. You're either first, second, third. I mean, there's no sharing of these things. A coach who cares, they're not just focused on, can we win more? They're focused on building great champion kids. Champions in sports, that carries over to their life. So I look back at, why am I successful? I take the lessons I was taught through wrestling, through the hard work that I was pushed to do, coached to do, encouraged to do. I take those lessons and I apply it to my life. I apply it to my business. That's what allows me to be always on the up versus going out of business. And it's like, why are we hating on the coaches that have a standard of excellence? And why are we so accepting of mediocrity? In fact, less than mediocrity. Those are the big mistakes there. No commitment to excellence. We've got a fear of evolution, a fear of change, politics, give it the axe. And then we've got coaches and administration who are, they avoid the parents who complain. They avoid all this complaining BS. It's crap. I mean, who cares if they're going to complain? If you're in a position of leadership, coach, administrator, principal, stop being a clock puncher. Don't be good. Be great, because that's what this world needs. It needs leaders. That's what these kids need. That's what teachers need. And excellence is fun. I don't know why we think hard work is a punishment. Hard work is beautiful. Dedication and commitment to the relentless pursuit of excellence is beautiful. And when you do those things, the score takes care of itself. And I'm not just talking about points on the board, but we've got too many teams just happy with good. Hey man, I'm just happy to be part of the team. Hey man, I'm just happy to be sitting on the bench. I'm just happy to be here. That's not going to make the world a better place. We need to build these young kids into leaders who become change makers in the world. Otherwise, you're going to have a bunch of clock punchers who are happy and don't dream big. I mean, being a teacher, you are the ultimate influencer. Being an administrator, you're the ultimate influencer over these teachers. Our children spend more time during the day with our teachers than they do with the parents. So I'm saying to the teachers out there, to the administration, step up, get rid of the negative stuff, and step up to the excellence. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hatred for this, but this is the truth. That's it. I'm Zach from the Underground Strength Gym, speaking the truth of the relentless pursuit of excellence. Why? Because I care about kids. I know what having great coaches in my life did for me, and I want to see other kids get that opportunity. And I'm pretty fired up to see so many coaches who are clock punchers, who don't care, administration who doesn't challenge the coaches to get better, coaches who are losing all the time. It's not you just losing. Those kids grow up thinking losing is okay. Losing is not okay. Doing your absolute best, laying it all out on the line, putting your heart into it, and coming up short, that's okay. But we're teaching these kids to just, hey, it's okay, you don't got to do that work, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No good. All in, all the time. You're either in or you're in the way.